Good morning, everyone. This is a big day at Unity of Fort Collins. Our beloved John Smith is back. Yay! This means that all is right with the world. It's in the before times that you were here last. So COVID doesn't exist anymore because John Smith is back. That's awesome. Yeah. It also is a day where we're looking both forward and backward with gratitude. I have a couple of things I want to just mention. Today we've got a council meeting after the service, and we are making lots of progress. A week or two ago, the team leaders met. We were going to have a short meeting, and we were there a long time, and the good sparks were flying. Lots of ideas, lots of excitement. So I realized that this team thing is, people don't like to volunteer if you think you're going to get stuck with something. So if you're the only one, it's a burden. If you're part of a team, it's fun. So anyway, our teams are excited. There's lots of leadership. There are all kinds of ways to screw up when you've got multiple leaders. So we talked about communication, but they're the good growing pains. So when does the social team need to talk to the finance team? Those are life's enduring questions. Yesterday. They needed to talk yesterday. So anyway, we're working stuff out, but we have a giant amount of people, more than 50 people in this congregation who are on teams. So it's just lots of fun that's being had. But the big news for after the service today, the social team so beautifully and rightly said, hey, it's been a year since we had Sharon and Jim join us. Let's have a party. Yay! So Jim and Sharon, this is the first news of this to them. And it's not easy to keep news from Jim and Sharon. But following the service today, we're having cake and goodies and a party, a celebration of our beloved Jim and Sharon. And when we pass the basket at the offering, any of you who brought cards can put them in. So can you believe it? We've grown so much in a year. Thank you so much. Yay! And that is entirely a social team and Lil brainchild. So that's what happens when you get lots of folks involved. I also wanted to say that last week, lots of people just loved Sarah Rain. And if you look at the Unity calendar, every fourth Friday, there's a little mark on there that says Dances of Universal Peace. The full statement of that includes chanting and singing by Sarah. So if you liked Sarah, they're here every fourth Friday. So I'm going to come. That touched me so much. So anyway, she's with us every month. So I knew you'd want to know that. I'm trying to think what else there is. Lil, come on up. Clipboards. Clipboards are good.
The countdown begins. Friday is a variety show after Thanksgiving potluck. So I'm going to pass this around, and I'm going to start this side because it didn't make it all the way around last Sunday. If you have a variety of talent, a variety of something that you want to share, come and share it. And it's really, everybody enjoys what you do so much. And then bring some food to share, and we'll have a good time. It's this Friday, 5 o'clock here at Unity. We have it early so people with kids can come and bring the kids, and they can do something too. Thanks.
And John and Dan, you're welcome to come back.
We wouldn't call you variety. We'd actually call you talent. Okay. Well, Sharon is our speaker today. Topic appropriately, a grateful heart. And we'll bring our grateful hearts to the service today. So let's have us, Courtney, welcome, Packet. We have a welcome team, and our team members love to put a welcome packet in the hands, the outstretched hands of newcomers, no questions asked. So if you're new and you would like to see a packet, put your hand in the air and we'll plunk one in. Hands, please. Any hands? No takers. All right.
They're also at the welcome table if you want to grab one on the way out if you didn't feel like raising your hand.
All right. Let's do our unity blessing together. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you.
Good morning. What a joy to be back again. I'm gonna share a song from my newest CD, and it's kind of a post-election kind of a song, if you will. My name is America. I live between two oceans blue, and as nations go, I'm a child who is sadly now torn in two. And I was born out of a dream. For that dream, I'm on my knees tonight, for there's shouting on the left and right. I could use some help to mend this great divide. Oh, help me heal these wounds I feel. Please help me heal from these wounds I feel. It's not the first time I've been torn. The bloody redcoats shot and drove the natives from their homes. Then a flood of immigrants all came round in hopes of 40 acres, a mule and plow, and the right to speak their truth out loud. Oh, help me heal these wounds I feel. Please help me heal from these wounds I feel. Then it was the blue and gray, the north and south, spilling blood over slavery, leaving a scar centuries deep. Now they're still marching up and down my street. My name is America. I'm wounded, but I'm not down yet. I am still the great experiment. I was born from hope and tears and sweat, and I hold of that hope with every breath. Oh, help me heal these wounds I feel. Please help me heal from these wounds I feel. Oh, help me heal these wounds I feel. Please help me heal from these wounds I feel. My name is America. Thanks, you guys.
Oh, this. There you go. Thanks. Good morning. Only Rumi could follow that. The suggested theme for today was gratitude, thanksgiving, and appreciation. And I was drawn to this book from Love Poems from God, and specifically Rumi. We all know that poetry is very specific to each person, speaks to each person in a different way. But these poems I will read this morning spoke to me about my gratitude for the ways in which I can be present to others and for the ways in which I can be grateful for life today. The silkworm. I stood before a silkworm one day, and that night my heart said to me, I can do things like that. I can spin skies. I can be woven into love that can bring warmth to people. I can be soft against a crying face. I can be wings that lift, and I can travel on my 1,000 feet throughout the earth, my sacks filled with the sacred. And I replied to my heart, Dear, can you really do all those things? And it just nodded, yes, in silence. And so we began, and will never cease. On a day when the wind is perfect. On a day when the wind is perfect, the sail just needs to open, and the world is full of beauty. Today is such a day. My eyes are like the sun that makes promises, the promise of life that it always keeps each morning. The living heart gives to us, as does that luminous sphere, both caress the earth with great tenderness. There is a breeze that can enter the soul. This love I know plays a drum. Arms move around me. Who can contain their self before my beauty? On a day when the wind is perfect, the sail just needs to open, and the love starts. Today is such a day.
This is a song I wrote with a dear friend, Tom Prasad Rao, from the Maryland area. And it's called Somewhere, Somehow, Someway. Where's the world going to? Where's it off to now? Guess we'll find out in time if we can turn this thing around. Somewhere, some way, somehow. Some say it's going to the dogs, to hell in a handbasket, a ship running aground. Some say we might be headed for the light. Guess we'll see what the fates allow. Somewhere, some way, somehow. Nothing stays the same. Blue skies turn to gray, and every sunrise takes its bow. A ray of hope can be found. So we hope and pray love will find the way and turn our mistakes around and lay tomorrow down. Where's the world going to? Where's it off to now? Every day, let us find a way, even though we don't know how, to lift the furrowed brow. 'Cause the world is coming around. Somewhere, some way, somehow. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Good morning. Well, I appreciate being here. And to find out that we're going to have a party, well, that works for me. Thank you for your beautiful music. And thank you for the beautiful Rumi reading. So it happens every year at this time for ministers. We sit down to write a message about gratitude, and we ponder, and we ponder. Should I once again even be talking about gratitude? Well, a talk on gratitude might be kind of ho-hum to some. Same stuff, different words, year after year. And yet to others, a heart might be moved, and it might make a difference. Once we start thinking about appreciation, the list grows. We're giving free expression to spirit within when we value others. It's if we're saying, God, I cherish your creations and the joy that they bring to me. Everyone wants to feel appreciated. We want to know that the efforts we've made are worthwhile, that they're important, and our views and our opinions are valuable. So I have come to believe that it's more important to consider one's intention behind our words of appreciation. The words, the thoughts, the feelings behind our appreciation. If we're voicing words of appreciation from a duty-bound attitude, we're just creating negative energy flow. But there's a transformation that happens when we express appreciation sincerely, honestly, and with love. When we express appreciation with love, it becomes gratitude with value. Gratitude actually is a loving energy, and it changes our world. The amazing thing about letting others know that you appreciate them is that when you do it, when you express it, you are also blessed. When we bless others, we are blessed. So it's no wonder that this happens, because we're giving voice to the Spirit of God within us. We recognize the goodness of God being expressed when others give us appreciation. Just this last week, a card came here to the church from one of our online people who also attends the Thursday class. She's from Unity of Aurora, and she's been online with us here ever since we started here. And in it, she gave a love offering, but had beautiful words of appreciation to Jim and I. It touched our hearts. It made us feel appreciated. So we thank Ginger for her loving, kind words. So I don't remember ever thanking my grandfather at all for the letters that he wrote to me. And in my time, I really only saw him in my life about 3 times. And that's when, as a kid, we'd take the Greyhound bus from Los Angeles to Wisconsin. You don't even want to hear my opinions of those trips. But my grandfather wrote to me almost weekly. In those days, telephone calls were too expensive, and you only heard from a relative if there was an emergency. So I can still visualize his old-fashioned German handwriting. And each week with my printing, I would sit down and answer his letter. When I was having a difficult time, I would tell him about it. And in his next letter would be words of encouragement. My grandparents both loved to garden, and they often went on bird sighting walks. So his letters would give me reports of the birds that they had seen, or the flowers that were blooming, or the vegetables and fruits that my grandmother was canning. My long-distance grandfather was a true blessing to me. I think we had one-of-a-kind relationship of all of his 23 grandchildren. And he, in his letters, he planted seeds in my heart. Seeds for gardening and bird watching. And through his words, I discovered the beauty of God through his written words. So it falls into taking the time to give, taking the time to let people know you care. Gratitude is a choice in consciousness. It feels good when we live in a place of appreciation. There's a quote from Voltaire that goes like this: appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. So those are the things that are blessings to us. But I don't remember thanking my grandfather. But I know that he instilled in me something that over all of these years I'd never thought of until I sat down to think about talking today. And that he instilled within me a stability in my lonely and chaotic life. To this little girl in the Hispanic ghetto, this German grandfather wrote words of love. And it's just this week that I felt enfolded in God's love through my grandfather's love. A love which guided and supported me, and still in some ways guides and supports me. There's a story that I call the thankful chair. And there was a man who was married to a friend of mine in California. And when we would be together for dinners and stuff, he was always negative. And he was a social worker, and he worked for the Department of Economic Opportunity. And I used to hear him, and I would think, oh, how must it be that these poor people he's in charge of? Because he used to be so negative about them. In fact, sometimes he called them dirtbags. And I would be so offended. So one evening, we were all gathered at dinner, and he shared this story with us. There had been a devastating flood in our county the year before. And his job at that time was to interview families and assess their needs. And he said that he really didn't want to be doing that. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and he was just in this place where he really wanted to start celebrating. He didn't want to be driving up to these old houses and calling on people. So he did that. And he pulled up to this house, and he described it as the house was bitter cold. Bitter cold. I didn't have it in my heart to even be there. It was my last stop. And tomorrow I'd be with family and be partying. So I hadn't given it a thought about the family I was calling on. But when I went into the house, when I pulled up, the steps were gone and there were just cinder blocks. And a basement window was broken. And when I went in, the house was so cold. And the young children ran several times through the kitchen, playing and laughing with each other. But I happened to notice that the little girl was barefoot on that cold linoleum floor. Remember those cold linoleum floors? And so I turned to the youngest girl and I said, "You should go put your socks on before you get sick." And she replied, "Mommy, did this man bring us shoes?" "No, sissy, he didn't. Go put on a pair of mine so your feet are warm. He's right. You need something on your feet." And my friend said, I was embarrassed to have put her in that situation. So as he was with her and visiting with her, and he looked around the kitchen and there were no boxes from churches. He couldn't even begin to understand how this family was surviving. So he was uncomfortable. So he says, I was going to leave. And I got up and I said, well, thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful. And I didn't know what to say. How could they possibly have a wonderful anything? Look, I'm sorry. I know there must not be much to thank for you to be thankful for. I stuttered around. Well, the woman looked me right in the eye, and she said, well, you're certainly wrong about that. Then rising to her feet, she walked into the living room and stood in the middle. My dear man, I am truly blessed for all of this. I know it doesn't look like much to you, but who made the rules that say you can only be thankful for things that cost money? Sit here in this chair, she told me. The chair may be worthless junk, but I sat in that chair and waited for months when my son was in the service. At that time, it was my worry chair. I sat in that chair and I prayed and gave thanks to the good Lord when he safely brought him home. My prayer chair. It was the same chair I sat in when my daughter came home from school and told me she was going to college because she got a full scholarship. It became my joyful chair. It was also in that chair that I sat holding my daddy's hand when he died. They had sent him home telling us there was nothing they could do for him. So I pulled my chair up to his bed and sat there with him, telling him how much I loved him. He was all the world to me growing up, and my chair supported me while I told him goodbye. So how much is this chair worth in dollars? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Then walking over to a picture on the wall, she said, you see this man here? He's the man that has loved me for all of these years. He's at work now. He doesn't make much, but he works hard for it. He paid for that chair in his sweat. How much money value do I put on him? There isn't enough money in the whole world to place the true value of the love that I have for him. Those kids running around this house, yeah. Maybe someone would say I'm not a good parent, but you go ask them. You go ask them. Ask them if they love their mommy and daddy, and they'll tell you how much we're worth. Then she added, I'm thankful for my sight. I'm thankful I have good health. I'm thankful for my faith. Oh, how thankful I am that I have something to believe in. I'm thankful for the secondhand quilt the lady down the street gave me yesterday. And so she gestured to the other room. Do you hear their laughter? I'm thankful for my kids and their laughter. How much would you pay to find something to laugh at like them? There's so much I am thankful for. She said. I stood up and picked up my briefcase to go. I wasn't the same man that walked into that house. She touched my life and she changed me. And folks, literally, for those of us who knew him, we saw the change. And we know that he succeeded much better in his work because he learned to love and not judge. So this week, many of us are going to be with families. And I'm blessed because all 4 of my daughters will be here in Colorado with us. But families, they're in your life for a reason. Even Uncle Joe that falls into the Christmas tree when he drinks too much, he's in your life for a reason. So the key to having peace in all of your family relationships is forgiveness. Your relatives are simply doing what they've been taught to do over their lifetime. Shower them with understanding and forgiveness. That loving energy and that forgiveness that flows from your heart. Rather than being in a state of non-peace concerning any family members, say a prayer of gratitude for their presence in their life. Because believe it or not, they're in your family so they can teach you. I know you didn't ask them. I know you didn't request to have these people in your family. But they're part of your life, part of your family for a reason. So in just this coming week, we can find so many people to appreciate. Family and friends, co-workers and neighbors, peacekeepers, peacemakers, and songwriters. Truly, there is no end to appreciating God's creations. With every gesture of appreciation, we too are blessed. Every act of gratitude opens us to greater abundance, love, peace, and joy. So when I think of you today and think of just being so blessed, especially after COVID, where I didn't have this kind of community anymore in my life, that from Ephesians chapter 1:16, I do not cease to give thanks for you as I remember you in my prayers. I love you. Namaste.
Our thoughts are prayers. Every
So I invite you in this very moment to go from your thinking to your feeling. Go into your heart space and feel your love for the people in your life. And feel their love coming back to you. And as you think of them, think about the things they teach you. What gift have they brought to your life? How are you a better person for knowing them, for being in relationship with them? So we have a grateful heart for those that we hold dear. We have a grateful heart for those who have shown us, who've been teachers, that have helped us grow and change. We have a grateful heart for the people in this place. Grateful for what they give to us, and grateful that they accept our caring. We are blessed. We are blessed to have a spiritual family, to come together and to share and to grow, to give and to love through the amazing times and the difficult times. And so we go into the silence for a bit, and we hold in the silence, in appreciation, those that Spirit has put in our life. And so we're thankful. We're grateful and we're thankful for all of the blessings that flow into us and all of the blessings we're able to give. And so it is. Amen.
May the blessing of God be upon me.
I invite the ushers to come forward. So now is the opportunity for you to give your love offering, and I just invite you to hold it in your hand and know how very blessed you are. So we'll say our love offering, prosperity blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Here's an old song I wrote years ago when I was in Oklahoma at a festival and decided to go out for a long walk out in the reservation. And so it's my little song of gratitude. Last night I went walking down a gravel road in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Smelled the prairie flowers, heard the meadowlark sing. Yeah, the land was full and the sky was big, so I bowed my head to the four directions, to Mother below and to Father in heaven. Last night my altar was a gravel road in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Well, I grew up where the corn was king, and the family farm was a sacred thing. Yeah, working the fields and sweating the sun. Oh, jump in the creek when the day was done. Then we'd bow our heads, say our grace, give thanks to the Lord for the gifts He gave. Yeah, I grew up where the corn was king, and gratitude was a sacred thing. Now I'm so thankful for the chance to breathe, and for the chance to feel the earth beneath my feet, and for the chance to laugh, and for the chance to cry. Yes, gratitude is a friend of mine. So today I'm playing this old guitar. I'm just singing my songs from my heart. Oh, and there ain't no place that I'd rather be, oh, than sharing the gifts that were given to me. Sharing my loss, sharing my gain, sharing my joy and share my pain. Yeah, today I'm playing this old guitar, just singing my song from my heart. Now I'm so thankful for the chance to breathe, and for the chance to feel the earth beneath my feet, and for the chance to laugh, for the chance to cry. Yeah, gratitude is a friend of mine. Hey. Last night I went walking down a gravel road in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Thanks, you guys. It's always a joy for Dan and I to come back and share a few songs. And if you're not doing anything tonight, we invite you down to the Comedy Fort at 6 o'clock. We're to be doing a concert down there. And if you're interested, take some music home. There's a few CDs. But anyway, thank you all very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, and we are grateful for you. Grateful for you just being here on this beautiful day in Fort Collins, Colorado. Hey, do we have some kids that are going to join us? No, the kids are not going to join us again. Well, right after the service, I understand you planned a party. I had no idea you were planning a party. I don't know how I missed that bulletin. Well, you know, Sharon and I are so appreciative of each and every one of you, and each of you that are at home watching us on the live stream. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I want to cry when I think of this. But right after the service, we got a party, and then there is a group that's going out to lunch. So the lunch bunch is getting together for lunch. We have a council meeting, and what else? Anything else? Anyone wants to mention? Did you get your sign-in sheet for Friday night? Has anyone not seen the sheet? Well, good.
Hopefully there'll be enough food that they don't have to go out to lunch.
Okay, that's a divine idea. So let's go ahead and just join hands and join hearts. Let's circle up together. And we have the prayer, protection, and the peace song. And then I invite you to give your neighbor a big hug or a handshake as we close our service.
As we're joining up, I wanted to give Jim and Sharon all these cards that you guys have written to them, and this is a special one too.
All right. All of you, or a lot of you, filled out thank you cards for Jim and Sharon, and we've just given them to them. And we've also given them a gift card that we aren't going to say. They'll have to find it amongst their cards.
And please come and we want you to cut the cake, and then there's plenty of food for everybody.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Let's join our hands together, and most of all, join our hearts together as we have the prayer of protection. The light of